a place that turns your world inside out and upside down.
A funhouse is a place where you go to have a life-threatening experience that you can live through and have fun.
Terror, what the unknown may bring to us.
I think it's a fantasy world, an experience that you may not find anywhere else.
It is darkness, death, skeletons, evilness. The Funhouses is a world within a world.
Funhouse is a place where you have some fun.
For nearly 100 years, we've been invited to scream in terror and laugh with relief to the thrills and spills of funhouses of every size and description. But whether they use hand-painted cardboard cutouts or state-of-the-art technology like today's multi-million-dollar attractions, every funhouse is designed to play on the same basic human emotion: fear.
People like to safely explore fear. They want to be scared to death, but they want to know at the very end of it they're going to come out of it okay. And you know that when you ride a ride at an amusement park, you're going to come out the other end and you're going to be fine. So why not push your fears right to the limit?
Fear is such a visceral response. You know, you feel it in your body entirely. The hairs raise on the back of your neck. You know, your heart races. Fear is a way of feeling more alive than you do in everyday reality.
It's kind of like a survival journey. Images of death, despair, destruction, of fright are being thrown at you, but you survive it. It's a very positive experience in the end because you have escaped that terror.
But the Funhouse's formula for success isn't only based on fear.
A funhouse that's one awful shock after another would be no fun at all. You have to have a bit of humor in it, which takes the edge off, and makes you feel better for a while. Whereas if it were just one kind of sledgehammer blow after another, it would be an awful experience and no one would ever go back.
But every year, millions of people do go back to places like Universal Studios theme parks. Here, they can experience the excitement of multi-million-dollar attractions like Back to the Future, the ride, Jurassic Park, the ride, and Terminator 2 3D.
Hey, Puckaduss.
But few of these thrill-seeking visitors know that these big-budget, high-tech rides owe their success to a crude but effective amusement ride from the turn of the century. A Trip to the Moon, which debuted at the 1901 Pan American Expo and inspired George Méliès's classic silent film, used a simple rocking mechanism to convince riders that they had traveled through space and landed on the moon.
And the rocket would take off, and people would faint because they thought it was so real. And then you get out of the rocket ship and tour the moon with special moon guides, and you would get a souvenir piece of cheese and return to the Earth. That sounds very funny and ridiculous, but that's the beginning of it all. And it was so popular that they moved the whole thing to Coney Island.
And with that, a new form of entertainment was launched, the amusement park. And at the center of it all, the Funhouse. Here, rides like the spinning barrel, the shifting staircase, and the human pool table created a world which offered visitors a brief escape from the repression of Victorian society.
Slide down a chute, or you'd walk on a floor that would disappear out from under you, or you'd have a gust of air shooting up from below. And I think their appeal had to do with they're just being so different and so unexpected, so wild, things that you just don't experience in your everyday life.
In some of the old fun houses, they used to have cattle prods, and somebody used to come up and stick you with an electric cattle prod. And I'm saying in the 1990s, having somebody come up with an electric cattle prod and stick it on your hip or your rear end or whatever, I think you're looking at a lawsuit is what you're looking at.
A lot of fun houses ended in a sort of almost auditorium where people then could sit and watch everyone else have to go through the same ordeal that they themselves had just gone through. It's the same appeal that Candid Camera and America's Funniest Home Videos, you know, people caught in the act of being themselves.
One of the last of these early fun houses still operating today can be found at Bushkill Amusement Park in eastern Pennsylvania. Here, kids can climb and romp on the same rides that once thrilled their great-grandparents.
This is the Funhouse at Bushkill Park, one of the oldest of our buildings, in fact, the oldest attraction at Bushkill Park that's still running. Welcome. Let's go inside and see what kind of fun we have. This is the Barrel of Fun. There aren't many of these left. Nowhere that I know about. Somebody could write in and tell us where they have another Barrel of Fun. This is the way to the Hall of Mirrors upstairs. It's a safe trip. Oh. Well, I thought these were fakes, but I'll leave a note for tomorrow. Here in the Hall of Mirrors, we offer our guests and ourselves a kind of different picture of ourselves. The Funhouse has a great crash pad. I missed.
By the 1920s, the number of amusement parks and fun houses in the U.S. soared to record numbers.
It was a crazy era. It was the roaring 20s, and those people would try anything. And fun houses were certainly a part of it.
To meet the demands of a daredevil public, a new element was added to the mix: darkness.
When you're in your house at night and it's completely dark, even though it's a familiar environment, just the darkness makes it unfamiliar. And the Funhouse just sort of capitalizes on that uneasiness of just complete ignorance. Not knowing where you're going is the most frightening of all.
For nearly 100 years, Kennywood Amusement Park outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, has been a favorite summertime escape for millions of local residents. While dozens of Noah's Arks were once found across the country, today, Kennywood's Noah's Ark is the last surviving of these walk-through funhouses in the United States. Although it still uses the original motor and pulley system to rock the hull, several of the early funhouse effects have been updated in order to appeal to today's more sophisticated audiences.
Noah is my name.
This is the captain. Of course, it's Noah. This is also part of the old technology. Simple animation, animals that move back and forth. Noah turning the wheel back and forth.
Noah is my name.
This is one of the great old tricks. They're called the shaker boards. They don't really shake as much as they go back and forth. But a Noah's Ark wouldn't be Noah's Ark without the shaker boards.
The Ark's original revolving barrel has been transformed into a low-tech, high-seas optical illusion.
We're not moving, but our eyes and our brain and everything inside says we are moving because obviously this big room can't move. Well, it can in a walk-through dark ride.
Among other recent additions, the Elevator of Doom, which drops passengers down to the Perils Room.